My name is Nazima Presley. I'm 15 and I have an eating disorder.
My name is Karston Singleton, and I am 17 years old.
So pretty recently, like 14, probably like 2 years ago maybe, when like my diet and like my relationship with food just changed a lot. Like when I was younger, I had a really big appetite. Like people would say I had an endless stomach, and then like after like a few years at like 14, I just like didn't eat as much. I think now more so in school, I do not eat in school really. So like I'll be like starving the entire day. For like the most part, I'll like not really eat, and then I'll like have like the biggest binge eating session, and then it'll just go back to not really eating. I'll be hungry, but I won't be hungry. And then like all the hunger will just accumulate to where I'm like starving and I'm like, okay, now I have to eat. And so I just overeat mostly.
So has your condition gotten better or worse since you found out you had it?
I think it's gotten a bit better because I used to be like really bad. Like I wouldn't eat for weeks. And then I'll just have like the biggest binge session ever. So I think it's definitely gotten better.
Do you know why that is?
I think it's really like, it's just like, I think I've just changed again as a person. Like I just like, I'm more balanced, I guess, in terms of like a diet. Were you ever taught anything about mental and behavioral health?
No, we were never taught anything about mental or behavioral health. It was almost taboo, oddly enough. Like, we would just never talk about anything like that.
What were some misconceptions you had about behavioral health when you were younger?
I kind of thought everyone was just like depressed, or if you had a behavioral health issue, you could just like not be happy, and that you're just always taking medicine and like going to therapy or all that kind of thing. In my mind, if you have behavioral health, you're basically just, you were just like the low to the low, and because that's just how people kind of portrayed it to me. They were just kind of talking about it in such a way that there was almost like no hope.
Why do you think behavioral health wasn't taught?
Probably because they just didn't want us to go into that realm of thinking. So if they taught us that, I guess they thought that we as people would get worse and we would start creating issues for ourselves. I mean, actually, like when 13 Reasons Why first came out, that was probably the only time they actually talked about mental health with us. So they're like, oh no, that's just a TV show. If you need help, just come to us. But not actually explaining anything that would have been helpful for anyone. When I got to high school, I started doing more research about it, and having a health class that wasn't taboo about the subject and actually talked about the subject helped me actually learn about it and learn realities of mental health and behavioral health, and not just the whole dour side of it.
Do you think mental health is something that should be discussed in middle/high school?
Yeah, mostly because, I mean, if it's done well, then I think it should be. Because growing up not knowing these type of things, there are a lot of misconceptions that
Yeah.
we kind of learn about them.
I think it's really important for everyone to know about it, because I feel like it's something that doesn't get talked about really as much as it should be around teenagers and stuff. I feel like people try to avoid the topic because it has such a negative impact around it. So I think people try to avoid it as much as possible when it shouldn't be avoided. It should be talked about and stuff. But I mean, I think it should be negative. I think I don't think behavioral health should ever be shown in a positive light, because it's not something that is positive, and no one should think it's positive. I think people should look at it as that is a bad thing because it is, and not try to romanticize or try to make it seem like it's something better than it is. With the show Euphoria, which is literally all about eating disorders, addictions, and all types of behavioral health, people looked at it and thought, oh, that's so aesthetic and trendy, and they're so relatable, when those characters should not be relatable. It's not something that should be really shown.
I think these things should be shown. Diversity and inclusivity are very important, and these issues are real. They do happen. So I think showing them would be important to a lot of people. It just has to be done in a respectful and beneficial way.
9 times out of 10, no one in the cast has any of those disorders. They don't really do research. They just do what they see from other forms of media. So I wouldn't really trust the media to portray it correctly. Do you feel bad with behavioral health issues?
Everyone kind of goes through issues and turmoils in life, but mental health and behavioral health issues a lot of times just don't go away. And I don't know if I'd be able to deal with that myself. So knowing that other people have to sometimes makes me feel bad, but I don't see people with behavioral health issues differently because of it.